Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sisters at the Cinema. This is Valerie,
This is Amanda.
and today we are talking about Last Holiday.
Yeah, last holiday featuring Queen Latifah as Georgia Bird. All right, y'all, let's get into the synopsis real quick. It says Georgia, who leads a life full of unfulfilled desires, is left shocked when she discovers her terminal illness. Soon, she quits her job, gathers her savings, and sets out on a luxurious trip to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a pretty nice cast here. Queen Latifah, as I said, plays Georgia Bird. Then we got LL Cool J
Yes.
as Sean Williams. We have Timothy Hutton as Matthew Cragen.
Mm-hmm.
Giancarlo Esposito as Senator Dillings. And then we have Alicia Witt as Miss Burns, who is Cragen's assistant. And Gerard Depardieu as Chef Didier.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking when you said that name, like, who is that? But I remember him. I first saw him in that old movie Green Card. I don't know if you remember
Oh
that.
yeah, I remember that. Yep,
Okay.
yep, that's all I know him from too.
Okay, the movie starts with the church choir singing, and we see Queen Latifah's character, Georgia, in the back looking like she really doesn't want to be there.
Not at all. Mm.
And the pastor calls her out. You know them old school churches, they don't play. They'll let
They
you know.
sure don't. They'll get with you quick.
Mhm. So he announces that the senator will be there on Sunday to talk about their community development program.
hmm And so after church, we see Georgia doing some grocery shopping. She's using her coupons, getting her some frozen table dinners and such.
Hmm.
But then she goes home and she meets her little neighbor boy, and she tells him, why don't you go ahead and come back in about 75 minutes?
Right.
And so she goes in the house and she starts cooking while watching Chef Emerald on TV. And
Hmm.
she makes this fancy dinner, and her little neighbor friend comes over. And he's eating that food, man. It looks so
It
good.
looks so good.
And he like, you not gonna have none?
Hmm.
And she said, all I need is my lean cuisine.
Right. So she
And I
cooking all
said,
this.
what?
Yes. She cooking all this good food and she ain't gonna eat it. She took a picture of it and put it in a
She
scrapbook.
sure did.
Mm.
And so in her scrapbook, she got all kinds of pictures of food and stuff. And
Yeah.
so the neighbor kid is like, what's she doing?
Yeah.
And so she goes to the next room and he pulls her book out.
Uh-huh. Because he asked her about it and she was like, it's none of your business.
So he made it his business.
Okay. Nosy.
And it was called Possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So she got a little scrapbook slash diary that she keeps of, all the things that she loves and
Right.
wants and stuff.
Yep.
And so she even has a picture of her and a man in wedding attire, but their faces have been cut out and
Yep.
taped on.
Mm-hmm. She done made her some wedding photos. Okay.
Right. hmm
Possibilities.
Right.
But she catches him going through it, and the little dude's like, "Who is that guy?" He asks for his name and everything,
uh-huh.
and he says, "It must be Lucky Mother." And she was like, we'll have that kind of talk here."
Right.
So look, he even know. He's like, "Whoever get
Right.
Miss Georgia, he gonna have it made
hmm
because she cooking these delicioso dinners."
Yep. And so she does tell him the guy's real name is Sean.
Yeah.
So next we see her at work. She works at a department store,
Mm-hmm.
and she and her coworker are, doing little high school girl type stuff. Oh, I see your crush over there.
Right.
Why don't you say hi?
It's cute.
Right. and his name is Sean.
Yep.
So now we know she works with her crush.
Mm-hmm. And
And
who
so they,
wouldn't have a crush
right,
on Sean?
right. Sean is nice on the eyes.
Mm-hmm. None
And
other
so,
than LL Cool J.
right. They say a little shy hi to each other, and
Yep.
then Georgia goes off to her little department in cookware.
Right. Her friend is talking to her about wearing less frumpy clothes because Georgia does dress kind of old
Mm-hmm.
ladyish or plain, I'll say. And you could tell though that her and Sean like each other. And so
Right.
she's talking to him, but instead of asking what she really wants to ask him, she starts talking to him about a grill because that's the department he works in. And
Mm-hmm.
so he's like, I just sold you one last week.
Mm.
Georgia ain't got no game. I understand. And, and so next we see Georgia taking her new grill home. She done bought another one.
Mm. So then we see her go to work. And this time she's doing a cooking demonstration.
Mm-hmm.
So Georgia got this cooking thing down
Yeah.
because these folks are hungry,
It's a
right? They
crowd.
ready.
She done drew a crowd.
Uh huh. They like Georgia probably cooking something up around 10 o'clock. Let's go get some breakfast.
Uh-huh.
They know.
They
And
know her. They know her cooking. They like, let's go get it.
yep. And so most of them are, kind of older people.
Yeah.
And so her boss comes up to her after she feeds everybody, and
Mm-hmm.
he starts to chastise her for feeding the moochers.
Exactly. He's
Ugh.
like, this is why we in chapter 11. Like,
Right.
oh,
But
okay.
what's she cooking the food for if not to feed people?
And
You
not
know
only
what I
that, she's
mean?
trying to sell the cookware and stuff. She's trying
Exactly.
to get you sales. That's the whole point of the whole thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
But
not
he's
like she
all
running the soup kitchen.
right. He's all about Kragen and this new art magazine that Kragen put out,
Right.
and it turns out that Kragen actually owns the store. So I could see this guy being like, "Well, Kragen said this." You know what I
That's
mean?
true. That's true. We're doing
Mm,
wasteful spending or whatever,
right,
trying to cut the bottom line or however they say that.
right. But he was still kind of rude about it.
He was. He gonna give her a magazine with Kragen's face on it. And she threw it right in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
But then here comes Sean. Sean is like, I smelled the food you were cooking.
Mm-hmm. I bet you did, Sean.
So she gives him a sample. He's like, this is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, where'd you learn how to cook? Some fancy cooking school in Paris or something like that. And she's like, no, I've never been, to Paris or whatever. I'm not a chef, but he's going on about that cooking. So we know it's good because we saw that,
Mm-hmm.
that first dish she made. I have no doubt.
And so they keep flirting, but then she dropped the utensils that are in her hand, and they both bend down to pick them up. But when she stands back up, she hits her head on an open cabinet door behind her
Yeah.
and passes out.
Passes out. And he looked like he was just about to ask her out. And then this
Mm-hmm.
happened. And so when she passes out, she's having all these dreams about her and Sean. It was so funny because he really standing there, but she looking like she seemed like she was in some kind of daze, She just
Mm-hmm.
dreaming about,
Hallucinating.
yes, what it could be with Sean.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And big strong Sean, he picked her up and took her to the medical department.
Mm-hmm. The medical department at the or the department store,
Department
right?
store, right? This is the
Hmm.
fanciest department store I ever seen. They got a clinic
Right.
with
I ain't never
doctors, and
seen that before.
she gets to see the doctor, and he wants her to do a CAT scan. After he says the results are not good, they tell her without treatment it's terminal, and says
Mm.
she has about 3 weeks to live. I know,
That sucks.
sucks so bad. Like, oh, you have to find out you going out, and all you got left is 3 weeks.
And all these possibilities that you could have did.
Exactly. Man, you've been waiting, waiting, waiting for something. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows? And now you
Yep.
like you don't even have time to do the things.
Right. And
Yeah.
so they tell her she needs to go see her HMO administrator
Mm-hmm.
to see if, treatment can be covered by her insurance. The administrator is like, yeah, this isn't covered. We won't
Right.
be able to cover surgery.
Okay.
Basically saying you really do just have 3 weeks to live
Right.
because we
Okay.
can't help you.
We can't help you. We know there is a surgery out there, but it's not covered. So
Right,
you don't have the proper insurance for this.
right. And she never says why, which I'm so curious, about.
Right. But
Um,
this is why people do not like insurance companies. They're
yep,
paying all that money,
yep,
and when you need it, you ain't
yep,
covered.
right. So Georgia's like, well, how much does it cost if
Right.
I was to pay it myself?
Right.
And the administrator is like tallying it up on her little calculator.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, it would be about $340,000 out of pocket without anesthesia. And I think you're going to need that.
Okay. She ain't right.
She ain't
Just give me the full amount.
right.
Tally it up, okay? Maybe I got
Thank
it. You
you.
don't know.
Right. She was
Hmm.
so rude.
Very.
Mm-mm.
You don't care about me at all. You just telling
Mm-mm.
me straight to my face I'm gonna die and you ain't even bothered.
Right. Dang.
Right. So then we see her at home crying, looking through her book.
Mm.
And she's like, I should have ate that. I should have ate that.
Mm-hmm.
And she should have.
She
But
should have.
I understand. I mean, linguals, the food didn't look like it was bad for her that she was making. I mean, I'm sure
Right.
some of it might have been, but lean cuisine ain't good for you either.
Oh.
We know
Oh.
that. And the calories might be low, but come on. We know.
Oh, she coming for you, Linguine.
Woo! It's not. No, we might have thought it was back in the day, but we know better now.
While she's having her little pity party, she calls her sister.
Mm-hmm.
She got a sister. She gotta tell her, I
Right.
only got 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And her sister immediately starts to ask her if she'll babysit her 3 kids for 3 days so
Yep.
she can pursue a country music career. And Georgia said, ain't no black country music artist.
She did. That's not true, but sis probably not gonna be one. She not probably not gonna. I think
Right,
you really gotta be in that early. I don't know, but there's Charlie Pride, right? Who else? Who else? Now we got Beyonce, but
right.
yeah, I don't know. I don't do country music really, so
Darius Rucker.
okay. He goes multiple ways, I guess. I don't think
Well,
he's
yeah,
just
because he
country.
started off with Hootie and the Blowfish, but
Right, right, right.
I don't know if he's exclusively country right now or
Yeah,
not.
Aaron
But
Neville maybe.
hmm, okay,
I know there's more, but I got a few
right,
people. Shania and who I say Faith Hill. But I got a few songs of theirs I like, but I don't buy the albums or nothing like that. So
Mm,
country is not my jam. But I can see why Georgia would say what she said.
right. And so Georgia doesn't even get to tell her sister
His
that
sister going on her
she,
own.
and so that's messed up.
Cause it's like, why you can't keep him? Like she didn't even give Georgia
Right.
a chance to talk or say anything. She's just going on and on. So
Hmm.
she got off that call.
So the next day she goes to see her boss because she got to tell him what's going on.
Right.
And while she's talking to him, he answers a phone call.
Mm.
He hangs up the phone and she takes it out his hand and bashes it with her shoe.
She tore that phone up.
She
No
said, I
more
got
phone.
3 weeks to live. I ain't taking nothing else from
Right.
you.
She was like, I don't have to accept this.
Right.
And so
And
he like,
so,
that's a business phone, company phone. Telling
right.
her how much it costs and all that. She don't care. If
She
she cared,
don't
she
care.
wouldn't have tore it up.
Exactly.
So then he starts playing an audio book by the boss, the big boss. And she take that out the CD player and break it up. And then she quit. And
As she should. She
yeah,
should have been quit.
she should have been quit because the way she can cook, she can be a chef somewhere or doing something she want to do.
That's so true.
And so he tries to offer her more money, but she's not interested.
How he gonna start with 25 cents an hour? Like, come on
Whew.
now.
Yeah,
You
you're
not
not
serious.
serious.
Nope.
But then he keep going all through what she going on, like all in the hallway. She gone, and he come in on the
Mm-hmm.
intercom, talking to Georgia
Mm-hmm.
all through the hall.
$1. $1.
Right.
Can I get $1?
I thought that was too
She
funny.
out of there.
I said, "Oh, he really want her back."
Mm-hmm. Cause
Yep. Go ahead.
he told her that she was getting the most sales.
Yep.
Like she was their best performing salesperson.
Right.
And she was like, "You just now telling me that?"
Exactly. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, "Well, I didn't want you to hit me up for more money."
Right.
Dirty.
Well, dirty. That's how they do, folks.
It is. Why you can't just pay people what they worth instead of nickel
Mm-hmm.
and diming folks? But
Right.
no.
And so when she's outside leaving the store, Sean catches up to her and he asks her to go to a basketball game with him. But he's like, it's a couple of weeks away, but I want to go ahead and put my bid in
Right.
now, which
Because
is
I
so
know you.
cute.
It is. It's because I know you so busy.
Uh-huh. And she, it takes her a second and she tells him no.
Yeah.
Cause she only got 3 weeks to live, so she ain't got, but she ain't gonna be in no kind of shape to be going on no date in
And
two
not only
weeks.
that, she like, why would I start this up with you? That's what I think she's thinking. And then I'm about to die. What's the point now? Because she even talking to God, like, really? Now?
Right. Yep.
So, yeah, it was sad.
Yeah, it was very sad. And so we see her at church again,
Hmm.
and this time she is, like you said, asking the Lord why
Right.
in the middle of the church service, and she starts, why me, Lord?
Hmm.
And she up in the choir stand, and the choir starts singing along with her.
Okay.
I
They
said,
backing her
"This
up.
ain't some Southern black church."
Okay. We will make a song. Okay.
Joe will.
We will make a song.
Yep.
And she started
Mhm.
dancing in the aisle. Still, she why? And they right there.
Mhm.
So it was good. It was sad too, though, because she's singing about why I gotta die. But,
Right. Why I
but
can't be
yeah,
with Sean?
right. A lot of whys. And at this service, the pastor also announces that the senator is not going to make it out there today after all.
Mhm.
So next we see her booking a trip.
Booking a trip. She said, "You know what? If I gotta die in 3 weeks, I'm finna go somewhere out this possibilities book."
Okay.
Because that's basically what she did. And she looked through her scrapbook and she said, "This is where I'm going, at
Hmm.
this famous hotel in Prague that she's been wanting to visit."
Right.
And so she goes to the bank and she says, I need to liquidate
Yep.
my IRA. And the banker is like, Georgia, I know you are a fiscally responsible woman. What are
Hmm.
you going to do with all this money? And Georgia said, "I'm just going to blow it."
The banker was like, "What? What in the world?
Right. We were just going to blow it?
All that good saving?" And now she like,
Right. Might as well. I only
"Okay,
got 3 weeks to live.
listen,
I'm finna go on and
live it
get rid
up.
of this. Right. You can't take it with you.
You cannot. So might as well go and enjoy it while you can."
And so she ends up on a flight and she is in economy.
Hmm.
And y'all know these economy seats, especially on these international flights, they are packed in so tight.
Amanda said, "Y'all know, but all of us haven't been on international flights. Let me just speak for those of us that have not yet made it."
Oops, my bad. For those that don't know, they got y'all packed in there like sardines on them international flights. And so she was sitting behind a guy
A
who
big
pushed
dude
his
too.
seat all the way back. Big dude. She called him a big boy or something like that. He pushed his seat all the way back, and she was like, "Hold up!" She started pushing the seat forward,
Right.
and so the flight attendant comes over, and she's like, "Ma'am, is there a problem?" And Georgia's like, "Y'all got us packed in here
Yep.
like sardines, and ain't no room for this man to be putting his chair back or
She said, "Look
whatever."
at him."
Right. Look at him. And so another flight attendant comes by, and he has the nerve
The nerve.
to tell Georgia that she should have booked the first class ticket.
And
Mm,
the way he
mm,
said it. Well, if you
yes.
had booked,
Right.
you wouldn't have
So
these
rude.
problems, pretty much.
So rude. And
Yeah.
so Georgia said, "How much is it?"
Yep.
And the next thing we see is her sitting in first class.
Georgia done moved on up.
She's blowing their money, like she said.
Uh-huh. What better way to do it? Yes, first class, please.
Mm-hmm.
They bringing whole chickens down the aisle, and she's wine, champagne. Yeah, she's living it up in first class.
Yes. Gone, Georgia.
Ah, one day, one day.
Right. Well, when she gets to Prague, the taxi line is so long. And she's like, "Man, this gonna take hours before I get out of here." She ends up getting a private helicopter, y'all,
Mm,
to take her to her hotel.
let's go.
Right.
I'm a little
And so,
chicken, but if you only got 3 weeks, I'd probably do it. But right
right.
now, I
I
don't
ain't
know if
never
I'm
been in
getting
no
them.
helicopter.
Right. I don't know if I'm doing the helicopter. I'm a little chicken. And
Hmm.
so, at the hotel, the people on the ground are like, "Oh, who is that? Who's flying in?" And the bellhop is like, "Well, the last time this happened, it was Elton John." So, the people are like, "Oh, this must be somebody famous, important."
Right.
So she already got
Hmm.
some hype building around her.
Right. And so Georgia gets to the front desk, and the attendant tells her, "Oh, well, actually, we didn't expect you for a few more hours. Your room isn't ready."
Yeah.
So I think they really thought she was going to wait for this taxi. Like they took that into account.
Oh, I didn't think of
You know what
that.
I mean?
Yeah.
Because how would she be that early? I don't know.
Yeah, it just depends on the
Um,
flight times and stuff.
yeah.
'Cause check-in
So
ain't till 3 p.m. here most of the time, so
that's
it just
right.
depends.
Hmm. So she's like, "Y'all got anything that I can get now?"
Yeah.
And they offer her a presidential suite and say
Hmm.
it's $4,000 a night. Like,
Mm.
ooh, I don't think you're gonna be able to cut it.
Right.
And Georgia's like, "Sign me
Uh-huh.
up."
Yeah, so Georgia getting up in the presidential suite. But on the
Hmm.
way, the bellhop tells her, because he sees, that she came from Louisiana. He's like, "Oh, Senator Billings, your senator is here." And she's like, "Huh?" Because at church, they said that they were supposed to be, or that he was in D.C. on business. And now she
Mm.
find out he up here skiing.
Up here skiing in
Senator,
Prague.
living it up. Senator
Mm,
Bill.
mm, mm.
So she also sees her ex boss, we'll say Cragen, who
The
he's
boss's
the
boss.
big boss, yeah,
Yeah.
or owner, yeah, owner of the department store. And he has a woman with him that is not his wife, but she is his assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And Georgia talks to her for a little bit when she saw that Cragen kind of, wrapped his arm around her or something. So something inappropriate that Georgia knew, like, okay, that ain't his wife. And so she goes up to her and tells her that he's going to have a bad fourth quarter.
Mm.
And so then that lady is like asking the bellhop who Georgia is. And he's like, "Oh, she's very rich from Louisiana. And she was supposed to have a meeting with the senator." So he
Right.
just spilling all the tea, just nosy. A little
Wrong
gossip.
tea at that.
Yep, yep. Of course, he thinks she's
Hmm.
very rich. She just got the presidential suite. She came
Right.
in on a helicopter. So,
Right.
understandably so, but you're still wrong, sir.
Hmm. Right. So after she got settled in, Georgia goes to a clothing boutique.
Mm-hmm.
She tells the saleswoman to make her international.
Yes.
And the saleswoman looked at Georgia. She looked her up and down and she said, "We can try."
Girl, why
I
don't I
said, "Oh,
remember
that's
that?
rough."
I got to watch that piece again because I didn't realize she disrespected Georgia like
She
that.
sure did. She looked at
Ooh,
her like, "You peasant."
ooh.
She
Mm-mm.
work at the store.
'Cause I would have had to do my pretty woman and go shop somewhere else and come back
Uh-huh.
with my bags. Exactly. Had to
Right.
put your pretty woman on them.
Right. I said, "Ooh."
And so, oh, I just want to mention, okay, we love you, Queen Latifah, but it ain't her fault. This is makeup and wardrobe and all of them. Why they put Georgia? We finally see her hair down and she got this bad wig on.
Ooh.
That was one of my only complaints about this movie, as far as wardrobe, makeup. Everything else was great, but that
Yeah.
wig, I was like, come on now,
Oh, poor
Tyler
Georgia.
Perry wig.
Yeah, but my only thing about that is Georgia's, she work at a department store and she's spending all her money on grills. And so she probably just, grabbed the first wig she had at home.
But I think,
Uh,
well, I'm just gonna say that I think that that's supposed to be her real hair. You don't think?
okay. Maybe. I don't know.
I think a lot of times, they think we don't know the difference between a wig and real hair, and they just try to put it off as, But anyway,
Yeah,
all
that's
right,
true.
all right, we'll get off of that.
But she does go to dinner that night in this
Yeah,
fancy red dress, and I thought it
yeah.
was nice.
No, I like the dress. I thought they had her wardrobe was nice. Yeah,
Yeah. And she gets herself a table for one.
yeah.
And across the room, you see Cragen and some other folks at his table, including the senator,
Mm-hmm.
who I don't know if we know he's the senator at this point,
Okay.
but he looks at Georgia and he says to himself, "Hello, sister." And I just think that's so corny.
It is. You're correct. Ah, yeah, it's funny too because they're all like, "Who is that? Who is she?" Ooh,
Mhm.
ooh, ooh, ooh. And we know
Mhm.
the reason they're asking these questions is because,
Mm.
like he said, she's a sister. She's
Right.
black.
Yep.
Because if there had been a white woman or an
Yep.
Asian woman or a
Ooh.
lot of other kinds of women, they would
Yeah.
not have been asking that question. They were just like,
Right.
"Oh, it's some rich woman out to
Yep.
dinner tonight, staying at the
Yep.
hotel." I would have thought nothing of it.
Yep. Which is
Oh,
probably even more why Cragen is so annoyed. Because not only is she the center of attention, but she's also a woman of color. I don't
wow.
know now,
I don't know. I hadn't thought
but
of that one, but you could be
you
right.
know, that's real life.
It is real life. So
Hmm.
Georgia minding her own business, living it up, and
Right.
she gets the menu and she sees all these specials, and she asks the waiter, is any of this gonna be available another night? And he's like, nope. He only makes it once. And so she said,
Mm.
well, give me all of it then.
One of everything,
Exactly.
please.
She said, I'm eating good
Right. And so over at Cragen's table, he's so busy watching Georgia that he puts his hand over his glass a little too late to stop his waiter from pouring water in his glass. So the
tonight.
waiter accidentally pours water on Cragen's hand.
Right.
And so Cragen calls over the garçon and he tells him, will you tell the chef that we want to meet him?
Hmm.
So if he could go ahead and stop by our table tonight. And then he says, and can you also fire that waiter?
Right.
And I think he actually did get
He
fired.
might have. I don't know. The dude, he smacked him in the back of the head,
Yeah.
but I don't know if he really fired him. Because it
I
was
hope
like,
not.
yeah, it was like, okay, screwed up. But
Right.
whether they followed through with that, we don't know.
Right.
But I did think it was funny that at Kragen's table, they're placing all their orders with special
Mm-hmm.
requests. Everybody got something.
Mm-hmm.
No salt, no butter, no this,
No
no that.
dairy.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
yeah, they take it back to the chef, and he is not happy.
Right. But he gets George's order and he's like, ooh,
Uh huh.
no substitution? Which is crazy, right?
It is. Because I'm going to order like it is most of the time. I might change
Right.
a side if I don't want asparagus, I might change it to something else. But for the most part, yeah, I'm ordering straight off the menu too.
Mm-hmm.
But the chefs don't like it when you do most
Right.
when you switch it all up like that. So,
Yeah, they want you to taste the food the way they wanted it to be,
right. Because,
not
yeah,
with your substitutions.
it's not going to be
Eat
the
this
same.
butter.
Right. And so the chef finally comes out, and Kragen sees him. He thinks he's coming to their table, but the chef goes to George's table.
As he should.
Uh huh. And Kragen over there looking at him, trying to wave him over, wave him
Mm,
over to their
right.
table. And the chef like, yeah, yeah, I'll be over there. He giving
Right.
him a little gesture, but he over there,
Mm-hmm.
Georgia having a good time.
Right. They bonding,
Uh
trying to
huh.
figure out, like, what is this? Is this pork belly? They over there having a good old time talking about food.
Uh huh.
As would I.
Right. Okay. I don't think my palate is as good as George's, but
Oh,
look, I
nope.
love good food though.
Right.
So they still wondering who she is, and and Craig, he's asking, "Oh, you don't know? You don't know?" And he asks the senator, "You sure you don't know?" And the senator says, "For your information, I don't know everyone who's black." It was so funny because
That is funny.
it was so funny. Because,
Uh,
just because he's black don't mean he know every black person that got some money or.
right.
So, but he was like, well, that's not why I asked you. Are you sure?
Right. Meanwhile, we get a sneak peek back in New Orleans of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean is pressuring the doctor into telling him what's going on with Georgia.
Right.
And I just thought this was so interesting because I'm like, how does he know it has something to do with the doctor? You know what I mean? That
I
she's,
think, yeah. I think he just put two and two together. Or, he's at least asking the question or following these clues, like, okay, she
yeah.
was doing fine, and she bumped her head, she went to the doctor, and now she
Hmm.
just quit her job, and now he's like, let me go. I think he's just like, let me see if it could have been
Yeah.
something the doctor said, you know?
Mm.
And then
Yeah.
maybe if that was nothing, maybe he would have tried something else,
Hmm.
after that. But that one worked. So that's
Yeah, it
my
worked because he picked that doctor right on up and shook him like a rag doll, as they say.
That's so true. The doctor was like,
So
well,
that
I'm gonna have to tell him.
right, he spilled all the beans,
Okay.
gave it all up.
Hmm. So now we see Georgia. She's at the spa getting all the
Living
treatments.
her best
Okay.
life.
And then we get to this one treatment where the lady hitting her with this branch. And Georgia snatched that branch and started hitting the lady back.
She said, "I feel
Right. She was like, this ain't what I came here to relax.
right,
So I ain't never had the branch treatment. I don't know what
right."
what that is. But yeah, Georgia wasn't she didn't like that one.
Mm-mm.
So then she goes to the hot tub and here comes the senator.
Hey,
Just tell her to get in the hot tub. And he's
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out who she is and
Mm-hmm.
you know is she somebody of import?
Right.
And she says she knows him from church.
Mm-hmm.
And so
He
she
said, I ain't go to church on Sunday.
mm-hmm,
She said, I know.
right. Disappointed a lot of people. Was
Yeah.
waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, get yourself together, sir. So she has some words for him.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not, is this when he invites her somewhere? No. No, it's later. So Kragan and his assistant, they in the hallway and they happen, of course, just happen to see them in the hot tub. And they like, oh, they do know each other. And just because you see people together don't mean that. But
Right.
they just assume that,
Yep.
they know each other.
Yep. And so they get into the elevator
Mm-hmm.
and start making out before the doors close.
Yep.
And Georgia hops in at the last second
Uh-huh.
and sees them. And so Kragan introduces himself to Georgia. And she's like, everybody knows you.
Yep.
Which is kind of true.
You got a reputation. You a mogul, pretty much. So that's not
Mm-hmm.
unusual. You got all these stores and
Right. But she doesn't introduce herself back.
oh right.
That's what he really wants.
Right,
You want to
you're
know who
right.
she is.
You're right about it. Yeah, that was a faux intro. Look, he's just trying to get the scoop.
Exactly.
So back in her room, we meet Gunther. I think that's when we meet her, right?
Something like that's
Yeah. So her room
Gunther.
attendant.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm calling her room attendant.
Yeah.
So, but she is very dry, and she is like not
Right.
impressed,
Yep.
and doesn't seem to. I ain't gonna say like Georgia, but just not being nice.
Yeah.
And so Georgia talking, telling her what she wants to do the next day, putting in her orders pretty much, and she said, "I'm gonna gift you with a colon cleansing treatment." So Miss Gunther can get herself together. And so one of the things she signed up for was a snowboarding lesson.
Mm-hmm. And so she goes snowboarding, and I feel like this ain't no beginners.
The class? Or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because she ends up losing control.
Them slopes, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
And she going all the way down some of the most advanced slopes.
You're right.
And she would have broke something in real life.
Real life, ain't no way she would have made this.
Yep.
So, yeah, she just, what is it, snowboarding? So it's that one little paddle or whatever. Yep. And she's on that. She passed Kragan and them while they're out there. And he, he's a competitor.
Right. So he hop on out there too.
Right, on his skis, trying to catch her. And catch her he does. and she ends up on top of his skis. And makes him fall pretty much.
Yeah.
And he face plants.
Yep.
He gets up. Nobody makes me face plant.
Yep.
And so he chasing her again. And they're going, like you said, it's not a kiddie or a beginner's slope because they get to all these trees.
Yep.
Which they could easily have just ran into and been finished. So they make it through the trees and jumping over stuff and finally land at some, I don't know, she land on a table.
Yeah, but still kind of gracefully.
Yeah.
And like, he come tumbling down.
Right. And he the pro. Well, I don't know about pro, but he got experience doing this.
Right.
And she's doing better than he is. It was cute though.
Yeah. And so Georgia ends up back at the spa. And Kragan's assistant is there also getting a massage. And she starts yelling at her masseuse.
Yeah, she mean.
Because she with Kragan.
Right. Yeah, he rubbing off.
Right. And Georgia goes over to her and she says, the reason you got all that tension in your neck is because you going down on Kragan.
She sure did. She just let it all out.
Oh, did?
Oh. She said,
Right.
That's why. And she said, I don't like the way you talking to her. And so she got her straight in front of everybody. She embarrassed. But look, treat people right. Why you gotta talk to folks like that?
Right.
So yeah, she said she was trying to explain, I'm trying to get this knot out your neck, you know? Georgia got her together.
Right. And so they end up in the sauna together. Is that where they were?
I don't know.
And they end up having a little bonding moment,
Yeah.
Georgia and the assistant.
Right.
And I mean, to the point that the assistant, because do you know her name? I don't know
I
her name.
don't.
The assistant is back up in her room with Kragan, and she ends up defending Georgia to him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's telling Georgia how, you know, the other women at the office won't talk to her because they all know.
Right.
You know, they all know, and anytime something like that is going on at the office, the other people are gonna feel like you getting special treatment
And she
because
is. She over
yeah,
in Prague at this fancy
right,
hotel.
exactly. You're getting special treatment for what you got going on the side, and so they getting looked over.
Mm-hmm.
They were possibly for things, you know. So she's telling Georgia all of this, and she's talking about how she doesn't have a degree to get another job, and Georgia
Georgia
tells her,
tells her to go back to school.
go back to school. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's easy.
Easy peasy.
Okay. And so, like you were saying, back in the room, the assistant is defending Georgia because she like her now.
Mm-hmm.
Even though she got her straight at the, at the spa. She just likes it, you know, she gave her some advice. She wasn't like judgmental or harsh, you
Right.
know, about what was going on. So,
Yep.
but everybody liked Georgia. So.
Right. So do.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So back in Louisiana.
Back in New Orleans.
Yeah.
We see Sean again.
Mm-hmm.
He's at Georgia's house looking for her.
Yep.
And the little neighbor kid pops up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "You the guy from the Possibilities book."
Yeah.
And Sean is like, "What you talking about?" So
little children.
Right. He goes and gets her scrapbook. This is so embarrassing.
So embarrassing. But I will say she should not have put it out there in the trash.
Oh, right.
She left it out there for somebody to get.
Should have burned it up.
Exactly. And so yeah, he looking at his pictures in the wedding album. Right.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed for Georgia.
Right. This is a secret.
Even if he do like her.
Exactly. It's still embarrassing. Okay.
Yep.
You're not supposed to know. This is like finding a paper you've been writing your last name. You know his last name for your name.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Like,
Right.
It's private.
But he does realize where she is.
Yeah. The little boy is like, I think she went here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hotel Poop.
Oh, right. Some funny name.
Yeah.
So back at the hotel, Georgia is headed to dinner with the group, Kragan and them. But the waiter comes and tells her that the chef has reserved a special table for her.
And she said, "Y'all can come eat with me."
Yep. And so the whole crew went to her table.
Except for Kragan.
Except for Kragan. He's sitting over there. And so the table is short one seat, which was so funny to me. And they do not care that they left him, okay? Mm-hmm. Nobody is like,
because he mean.
Right. They just hanging with him for business reasons.
Right.
And so all his crew is over there with Georgia.
Yep.
And they talking about they playing. Because, yeah, he finally goes over there and pulls up a chair, you know, to the table. And they start talking about what they're doing the next day. Mm-hmm. And Georgia's like, I'm going base jumping. And they're like, ooh, everybody, you know.
Yeah.
Except Kragan. He like, I already got plans for us.
Which sounded boring. I can't even remember what it was. It was so boring.
He's like, we're doing this, and that. And they like, and so they all decide to go with Georgia.
But while they're sitting at the table, they're starting to ask Georgia some questions about what she does.
Yeah.
And all of her answers are so mysterious that they still can't figure out who she is or what she does and how she got so rich.
Right, exactly.
Nosy.
Exactly. Very nosy and judgmental because that's what they're trying to do. Mm-hmm. Figure out is she of import.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. So the next day they do go base jumping. Mm-hmm. Her and Kragan. The other ones are like, we just gonna watch.
Okay.
And I'm with them.
Me too.
I'm just gonna watch.
No way in the world. You couldn't pay me enough.
Right.
I don't have it in me because I don't think I would survive it anyway. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna have heart attacks.
Right. And so the instructor is telling them what to do
Yep.
and what could potentially happen if they don't do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And so Kragan is like, huh. It's like,
Right, because
what did
dude is
I
like
sign
people.
up for?
Yeah, dude is like people have died doing this.
Mm-hmm.
George is like, hey, well, I'm on my way out anyway.
Right.
Might as well take a risk.
Yep.
That's a totally different, totally different.
Mindset.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
already on your way out, or so you think, or
Yep.
whatever. So you like, I can do whatever, take the risk. Okay, you're
Right.
like, shoot, I got many more years to go. Okay, you ain't think
Right.
about dying no time soon.
Yep. So Georgia hesitates for like half a second.
Yeah.
And then she jumps.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's Kragan's turn to jump, he act like he gonna do it for a second.
Uh-huh.
And then he turn around and climb back over the railing and yells to his friends that he had mechanical difficulties.
Exactly. He makes up. That's a good excuse.
But it ain't true.
But we don't believe you. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because I'm sure they can get you hooked up with some more stuff if you had an issue.
Yep.
And you really want to do it.
Yep. Exactly.
So next we see the staff. They're like, I don't know, were they eating lunch or something? I don't know. But I thought it was funny because they talking about Georgia too.
They love Georgia.
Yes, everybody loves Georgia, except her room attendant.
Yep.
Who says she thinks she's a fraud.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see her talking to Krager. What's his
Kragan.
name? Kragan. I'm messing the name up every time. Kragan about trying to find out who she is. He gives her some money.
Uh-huh.
So she a spy now.
Yep.
Then we see her and Chef Didier at the market.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they're just out shopping, looking so cute.
Mm-hmm. Besties.
Yeah. He's showing her stuff, different things he likes to cook and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, you know what the secret to life is? Butter. That's okay.
It is delicious.
It is.
Mm-hmm. When they get back to the hotel, the Kragan crew, that's what I call them.
That's funny because I got that too.
They invite Georgia to the hotel charity gambling event that night. And at first, Georgia's like,
Oh, I didn't realize it was charity. Okay.
I think it was. Maybe not. It was a
gambling. Winning real money.
Gambling event.
Yeah.
And she's like, nah, I think I'm just going to rest. Yeah. And she ends up at the...
Yeah, but she goes to her room. She does go to her room first.
Mm-hmm.
And she writes this letter.
Oh, right.
Yeah, about, her dying wish and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then I guess after that, she's like, you know what?
Right. That's too depressing.
Okay. I'm going gambling.
All right. So and she ended up winning big.
Big time.
And she, every time she bet, the rest of Kragan's crew follow right with her.
Right.
Where she bet, we bet. And Kragan, mean old grumpy Kragan, is doing the opposite.
Yeah, he keeps saying stuff like, that's not smart. That's not a good bet. I wouldn't do that, And she winning every time. You losing.
Right.
He just wants somebody to follow him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she won. She asked the assistant, like, how much, because it's, foreign currency.
Yeah.
Like, how much is this? And she said, it's about $100,000. I said, you go, girl.
Okay. I don't know why I assumed it was charity, but.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
She blew it and she's still getting more.
Yeah.
More back.
She risking it all and just getting more money.
Right.
Okay, let me go. Man, lost my stuff.
Yeah. And so while everyone else is at the event, Gunter, is that what you said her name is?
Yeah.
Is going through Georgia's things, being Kragan's spy, and she sees her work badge.
Oh, right.
So she's like, okay, she works at the store that Kragan owns.
Associate.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And she also finds the goodbye letter that Georgia just wrote.
Right.
Um,
That changed everything.
it changed everything.
Because she went from, thinking she a fraud and
Uh-huh.
not liking her to feeling sorry for her.
Yep. And so when she sees Georgia later that night, what did she say to Georgia?
I can't remember the exact words, but she was just so nice.
Yeah.
And then she gave her a hug.
Oh, okay. She might have said something like, "Please don't die."
Yeah,
Or,
you're right. You're right.
yeah. And Georgia's like, "You read my life."
Uh-huh. Yeah, she said, "Yep, please don't die." And
Mm-hmm.
Georgia's like, "You've been going through my stuff." And she said,
Yep.
"I go through everyone's stuff."
I believe it.
Me too. That's why I be nervous sometimes leaving some of my stuff in the
I
hotel
know
room.
that's right. Hmm.
Yeah. This is when the senator invites Georgia to come see him in DC. They outside on the little, I don't know, just enjoying the night, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking to her, he likes Georgia. Well, like we
Mm-hmm.
say, everybody does. And so, yeah, he invites her to come see him in DC. And she said, I can't get past the flashing for sale sign on your
Oh,
forehead.
Georgia is not sparing anybody's feelings.
I think, and I don't even think she would have been like this before.
I agree.
Right. And
Mm-hmm.
so now she's like, look, I'm going to say what I want to say.
I'm bold.
Right.
Hmm. Might as
I'm saying what
well.
I want to say. So, and he was like, what you mean? So she went into the whole thing about Cragen and their relationship and how you stood the church up. You
Mm-hmm.
trying to help him, but you ain't helping your own folk, blah, blah, blah. So
Yep.
she gave it to him good.
So did. And when we flash to Sean, Sean has made his way to Prague.
Yeah.
And at this point, Georgia is trying to actually go back home.
Yeah. Because after she talked to Gunther, and Gunther was like, you should be with people you love, you care
Mm-hmm.
about.
Yep. But there is an avalanche came through.
Yeah.
And some snow is blocking the road. So Georgia can't get out and Sean can't get in.
Right.
But
But
Sean is in
go
shape.
ahead.
Sean is in shape.
He is that.
And he said, you know what? I'm finna go on and hike through the snow.
He said, I'm going to get my woman.
Yep.
My question is, how you know where you're going?
You know,
I was like,
movie magic.
thank you. That was the only thing. Like, unless you really, stay into the road or whatever, when we see
Right.
you in snow, and
And
I'm
he
like,
from New Orleans.
come on now. Sir, you be lost, froze up somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But he said he going to get his woman.
Yep.
The snow ain't gonna keep him from Georgia. Okay. Then we see Gunther talking to Cragen,
Mm-hmm.
and she won't give him any real info except for the fact that she does tell him that Georgia works for him.
Yep.
And he's like, huh?
Right.
So that's the clue he needs.
That's all he needs. Yeah.
To figure out who she is.
Yep.
So then we go to, what is it?
New Year's Eve.
Yeah. So it's New Year's Eve, and because of the avalanche, the kitchen, the staff is short.
Yep.
So Georgia goes to offer help to
Chef
the chef.
DDA.
Yes, which he gladly accepts.
Oh yeah,
because he loves her.
Yep.
And so they cook up this fantastic looking meal.
Mm-hmm.
And then the chef introduces her to the dinner guests.
Yep.
As his, kind of assistant. She helped with prepare the meal.
Yep.
And of course, Cragen and all them, they all see.
So Georgia goes up to her room. She changes clothes.
Yeah.
And then she goes down to eat the dinner she just made.
But in between here, they do flash back to the doctor.
Okay.
And the doctor is doing a scan on himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he realizes, I think he might have did it twice too, but he has the same lesions that Georgia had. And so he's like, okay, something's wrong with my machine. And he goes to her house.
Wait for her.
Yeah, he's trying to find her.
Yeah.
Because he feels terrible. You just told somebody they, about to die and all of this. So he ends up talking to the little boy and getting some information.
Mm-hmm.
to try to get the news to her.
Yep. So he sends a fax
Yeah,
to the hotel to
right.
inform Georgia.
Yeah.
And we see the fax come through to the hotel, but it falls to the floor
Uh-huh.
before anybody can see it.
Yeah.
So Georgia goes on down to the New Year's Eve dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and she ends up sitting with Kragen's crew.
Yep.
And Kragen, being the Scrooge that he is,
Mm-hmm.
so mean spirited, he tells the table that Georgia works at one of his stores
Yeah.
and only earns $29,000 a year.
Ooh,
And
that really, ooh, because he really talking like, oh yeah, I found out who,
hmm
Georgia is, blah blah blah. Is she this? Is she that? Blah, blah, blah.
right.
And so, when he says, yeah, I found out she's a sales clerk in
hmm
one of my stores.
hmm
That was enough.
That was enough.
You had to throw her salary out
He
like
threw her
that.
salary out there like,
Like, oh, she ain't about nothing. Oh, she
right.
only makes $29,000 a year.
Yep.
This is what we dealing with.
Yep.
I
And,
was like,
he
ooh,
dirty.
very.
hmm
Not only that, you putting value on people's
Right.
lives based
Yep.
on what they
Because
make.
she never said she was anything.
None of it.
She never said she was some rich
Never.
ambassador or whatever.
Yeah.
Y'all just assumed
You
all of that.
assume, right?
That's on y'all.
Exactly.
And so he's trying to embarrass her,
Yep.
and he gets embarrassed himself because she
Exactly.
told him he right.
Uh-huh. She started explaining, the chef come over. He like, you ain't gotta explain yourself to these
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
But she goes ahead and does it anyway. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, Kragen says, yes, she does, because she's been giving us advice, and we only listened because we thought she was
Whose fault is
somebody.
that?
But he said
Whose
we
fault?
thought she was somebody. She is somebody.
She is somebody, and y'all should be listening to her
Right.
advice.
Okay, because y'all need some advice. Somebody needs to talk to
Exactly.
y'all.
You are a terrible human being.
Exactly. I was like, ooh, I mean, to say that kind of stuff out your mouth
Yep.
in a big setting like this in front of people,
Yep.
I'm always like, I see people saying crazy stuff at their house with
Mm-hmm.
their, spouse or with their best friend or whatever. But
Yep.
when you say stuff like that in front of just, oh, these your business associates,
Right.
like, you really don't care, or you think everybody thinks like you do.
Exactly. Yep. And so he basically has embarrassed himself, and they all tell him so.
Mm-hmm.
And they end up leaving him alone at that
Yep.
table.
Oh, but the speech that she gives,
Mm-hmm.
she tells them, I didn't mean to give anyone the wrong impression about me.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I'm just here to blow my money because I'm dying.
Yep.
And
Oh, right.
it was a great eye-watering speech.
Yep. Yep.
And so, yeah, that's why everybody was like, oh, yeah, you definitely suck. Because
Oh,
they
yeah.
felt bad for Georgia, but also
Mm-hmm.
like, we don't like you.
Right.
And left the table. He's sitting there on New Year's Eve by himself at the table.
Mm-hmm. And so he gets to feeling so bad about himself that he went and sat out on a window ledge,
Yeah.
contemplating jumping.
Yes.
And Georgia, dear sweet Georgia, goes out to talk to him,
Mm-hmm.
to talk him out of it.
Yeah, trying to save him, get him off the ledge.
Mm-hmm. And they end up having a bonding moment.
Yep. Yep. Because he realizes, she told him about himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he can see it now more so, especially when everybody dumped him.
Right.
Sometimes it take that something extreme to happen
Yep.
for you to see yourself.
Yep.
And so, I mean, the fact that he on the ledge, at least he at least feels some remorse.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
What the senator was on the ground. He said something like, I forget. This dude can't take a insult or something.
You
But
right.
he on the ledge.
Right. But while they're up there, Kragen asks her if she has a boyfriend.
Yep.
And she's like, not really. But then she starts telling him
Mm-hmm.
about Sean.
Yeah.
But as she's talking about Sean runs up to the hotel and starts calling her name. And she like,
She
Is that
says,
you, Lord?
she said, it's starting to happen.
Yep.
I'm hearing this voice.
She think her illness is making her hear these things.
Right,
And she's like, I think I just heard him call my name.
right.
And Kragan is like, somebody did just call your
Exactly.
name.
Exactly. Because she can't imagine Sean being there.
Right.
So she's like, it got to be in my head.
Yep. And so Sean comes out on the ledge too. Or at
Oh, yeah,
least
yeah.
he runs upstairs and he talking through the window. See, that's what I would have done.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna sit out on the ledge
And
with
I
you.
can't sit out in the window too long. Because
Right.
I can't handle it. I cannot do heights.
We do not do heights over
No.
here.
When I'm at the mall, I can't walk by the railing.
Me
Okay,
either.
when it's open. I gotta be by the store. Okay?
Exactly.
Mm-mm.
And so Sean, he with it. He like, I'll stand right here in this window and talk to y'all. And so he tells her that he found out about her illness
Yeah.
and he quit his job. Which
Quit
what?
his job. Okay, he said, if you ain't here, I don't want to be here.
Right.
So he love you.
Yep.
Y'all ain't went out on a date.
Yeah. And so he says, it seems like there should be other possibilities in life.
Oh, that was so good. It was so good.
She said, oh, you done up and ran
I said, oh no. Oh no.
Embarrassing.
Yes, we felt the same for you, Georgia, okay?
Right.
He didn't have to tell you, he saw it.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
It was.
And so he starts to admit that he has feelings for her
Mm-hmm.
and he wants to be with her.
He said whether it's for 5 minutes or 50 years.
Right.
Oh.
So we have a quick flash, and Gunter
Yeah.
is downstairs at the front desk,
Mm-hmm.
and she sees the fax laying
Right.
on the floor. So
Yeah.
she picks it up and reads it. So she also runs up to the ledge.
Yep.
And she tells Georgia the news. And she says there was a faulty dog scan.
She did say that.
I thought that was great. And so, Georgia's like, what?
Yeah.
Because that's the best news ever.
Right? Georgia and Sean. He like, oh, I get to be with the girl.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, Georgia and Sean have a little moment. They share a little kiss.
Mm-hmm.
Then they all get off the ledge, thankfully.
Yep. Right.
And I thought it was funny, too, how she got up off that ledge. I was like, it's probably icy. It should be, right?
It should
She's
be.
just standing up. I was like, come on, y'all.
Movie magic.
Movie magic. Because surely somebody would have slipped and fell.
Right. So, we flash forward. Did
Yep.
it say how long it's
doesn't.
been?
Mm-mm.
Okay, we flash forward, and Georgia and Sean are cooking together with Chef Didier.
Yeah. So we find out, this is Georgia's new restaurant.
Yep, this is the opening day.
Yep. And so
And-
she's got some big wigs coming through.
All their friends and family. We see both of their old co-workers come in. Her sister and the kids come in. And then we see Emerald. Aww.
That was so nice.
It was.
She invited him to come, and he came.
Right.
Yeah, that was real nice. I thought Kragan and them were gonna be there, but they didn't show them. Man, they're like, they don't need to come.
They not invited.
I'm thinking they're gonna come support, but yeah, they didn't show them at all. She said she done with them.
Right.
She's helped them with their lives. Now move along.
Mm-hmm.
And so her and Sean all booed up now. So cute.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it.
Yep.
So it's a great movie. Watching it, I haven't seen it in probably a few years or so.
Yeah.
But watching it again, I was like, this really is a good movie.
It is. A good feel good.
Yeah.
Romantic comedy kind of. Yeah.
Just
nice.
I feel like they can make it too. Like I want to see what they're doing.
Yep.
What's going on with Sean and Georgia? How's the
Right.
restaurant? I want to know. Y'all got
Yeah.
some kids? You know what's going on?
Right.
Yeah, I think they could make another one.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was a good one. So, out of 5 buckets of popcorn, how many buckets you
5
giving
buckets of
this?
popcorn for this movie. Okay, out of five, I feel like I don't have any big issues with this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's really good.
I agree. Um, that's
Yeah,
all you wanted to say?
I mean, pretty much, the storyline, the acting,
Yeah.
um, yeah, that's great. The setting, the hotel.
Yeah.
I mean, they got some silly stuff like the snowboarding and all of that, but it fits well
Right.
into the movie. It's a
Yeah.
comedy, so
Exactly.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
Awesome. I was thinking 4, but you might have made me increase mine to 4.5 as well. Because
Okay.
as much as you know silliness there is as far as some of the details that
Yeah.
we talked about that
Right.
don't make sense,
Yeah.
um, I can overlook all of that.
Yeah. Because the story is so
Uh,
good.
right. I don't need to know how Sean hiked through the snow.
Right. And I don't need to know why they have a medical center at the mall.
Exactly.
Well, okay, they got a medical center. Because
Exactly.
Cragen even mentions it one time, like something about the clinic. And
Yep.
I was like, okay, they got a
Right.
clinic.
Yep. So I don't even need to question all that stuff.
Yeah.
Queen Latifah and LL Cool J. I mean, aren't they just amazing?
Amazing.
Um,
I love them both. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, since, I'm an old school hip hop head, so even
Yeah.
from before they started acting, I
Exactly.
love both of them.
Yep. And so they did a great job. The whole cast was pretty great,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, I agree. This is a 4.5. I mean, there was some good laughs
Mm-hmm.
in here. Even got you a little teary eyed. You said right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, this movie covers it all.
Yeah. She made that
Um,
speech and my eyes
mhm.
watered up.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go with 4.5 on
Yeah, and it
this
makes
one.
you think about your own life too, right?
Yep.
Like, let me get myself together. Let
Yep.
me go on the trip. Let me
Yep.
book the flight. You know what I mean? Like, do the
Yep.
thing because you just never know.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
So it's
agree.
inspiring too in that way,
Uh huh.
and go after it. Like if you like a dude, let him know.
That's right. Let them know. If you
So
like a girl,
let
let
her
her
know,
know.
right? And I know it's hard because I never did. But
Yeah.
maybe if I had saw this movie when I was younger, maybe I would have.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
really good.
Really good. What a great movie to end the year.
Yes,
2024 is in the books, y'all.
that's it.
In the
Wrap it up.
books. So
We got a
thank
few more
you.
days. Do
I mean, we do, but when the episode released, no.
we? You're right. The episode released on Tuesday. That's NYE.
That is.
Okay. Y'all, well, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Thank y'all so much for being with us on this journey. This is our first year starting our podcast, and it's been awesome. And we hope y'all come on with us into 2025.
Yay, yay. Oh, that's Ice Cube, but you get the gist.
Oh yeah, I got it. So, um, so thanks again. Like, subscribe, comment, follow, all that good stuff.
That's right. So y'all can be with us in 2025.
That's right. So we'll see y'all.
Bye.
Bye.